until 10 o'clock. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning that will encompass the areas that from the severe thunderstorm that moved through Tulsa. Now we have that extending all the way through southern Rogers County, and then that extends back on around the Pryor area. Vaughn is just to the south of that, looking into it. And again, Vaughn and Darren, who are usually in the middle of everything, kind of holding back a little bit because they're going to have to intercept all these storms that our guys are on. But there's a lot of turbulence within this zone. And so winds, I think Alan was reporting 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds. Alan, I'm going to go back to you real quick and try to get an update. Just looks like you're on the east side, eastbound right now on the east side of Tulsa. What do you have? And what's the winds? What's going on?
Okay, Travis. Yes, we're on 44 eastbound. Heavy rainfall, torrential rainfall, ponding on the roadways, of course. Lightning count, from our standpoint, has dropped off just a little bit, and the wind speeds have also come down slightly.
All right, well, that's good news, and it'd be nice if we get this out of Tulsa without any damage. That would be awesome. And Alan's, yeah, I mean, just judging from even the lightning strike total, that's not that impressive compared to the storm to the south. But we still have heavy rain.
Again, north of IXL, still some areas of rotation right along Highway 48. Molly.
Yeah, so I do want to show this photo that we just got in. We got this in on Facebook. If we can go ahead and take it to Weather 6, please. This is from Austin and Broken Arrow. You can see just prolific lightning with these storms moving across Tulsa right now and really starting to move into the Broken Arrow area as we continue to watch them move off to the southeast. And I do want to start with the Tulsa Metro as we're looking at those storms. They've kind of broken up just a little bit in the past couple of radar scans or so, but still some stronger thunderstorms and some very noisy thunderstorms at that. They are moving a little bit slowly. This cold front, this kind of thin line that you see near Sperry back towards Shady Grove and Manford, Lawrence Creek, that's the cold front that's going to continue to move across northeastern Oklahoma and eventually south of I-40 later this evening. Storms firing up all along that cold front. That's what we've been seeing for the past hour or so. So back towards Delaware County in Jay, we still have a very strong thunderstorm. And actually, we've had some reports of up to $half-dollar sized hail up towards Grove. Jay likely seeing some heavy downpours, some very strong lightning, as well as some smaller hail and some gusty winds. Actually, I do want to look at the velocities within this one particular storm in Jay. We could be seeing some stronger wind gusts stretching from Jay all the way back into Dodge. This is capable of producing wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. Let's turn the radar back on, the velocity, the reflectivity rather. This is all part of a very large severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 9:45 for southeastern Craig County, Delaware, and northeastern Mays County, moving east at about 35 miles per hour, so very slow.
Of southern Okfuskee County, southwestern Okfuskee County, and that's dropping to the southeast as well. So we still have the two areas of rotation, but I think the one has weakened a little bit. Maybe it's just cycling through at this point north of IXL, but it looks like at least the rotation has come down just a little bit there south of Welty. Mike.
All right, thank you very much, meteorologist Tapp Price. Let's take a quick jaunt to the northeast towards Grand Lake, and that's where Tony Russell's been all day watching for folks that have been out on the lake. Tony, give us an update on Grand Lake on what you're seeing right now.
You know, Mike, you were talking about how this storm is just sitting up here, and like we're seeing several waves of it since we've got on the air around 6 o'clock tonight. You know, that first round that came through, we saw a lot of that back-building storm that trucked off into the eastern parts of Oklahoma and into southwestern Missouri. But now that main thing is that we had quarter to diameter sized hail.
All right, so we're getting hail still falling in the Grand Lake area, and we have Tony Russell who's reporting live from that area. We also have John Haverfield who's south on or heading west on Interstate 40. So you can see some hail still. Here's Grand Lake, here's Langley, Ketchum. That's where Tony is right now. The main hail core now to his south, but still he's had the history of producing some small hail with that storm. Zooming out
area and maybe a little bit of weakening, that heaviest rain pushing off to the northeast, but Tulsa International is getting hammered with heavy rain right now, and that looks to continue at least for the next 15 to 30 minutes. And we could see more development all along this boundary that is right over I-44 at this time. Now back to the northeast. I'm going to go ahead and stop the radar, bring it back to our current view. Heavy rain right over the radar site near Inola, back to the northeast, Rocklahoma. Getting close to the back edge of this rain, but still very heavy rain as this continues to push to the east, northeast. Let's look at some of the wind in this, as I know a lot of people out there without much cover and
rain picking up again there, too.
Yeah, and the rain going to pick up, so you can see maybe right on the edge there, but more rain moving in just on the backside, and then more rain back towards Rogers County. So it's going to be a bumpy ride there around the Rocklahoma Festival for at least the next hour or two. Looks like a spotter reports a 55-mile-per-hour gust at the Will Rogers Turnpike, mile 266. And this line all the way up towards Spavinaw, Lake Spavinaw, up to the northeast and into Arkansas. And we talked about how this would start as individual storms and then kind of turn into a line of storms, and that is what we're seeing here. Areas that haven't seen much rain yet, south of I-40 towards McAllister. Well, you got some severe storms back to the west. They'll be moving into the area as we head through the night. And as I said earlier, this is not the end of our rain. We've got more storms on the way. That wider view will show you that we've got those storms all the way back to the west as well, and severe storms with damaging wind gusts moving through the Oklahoma Panhandle. If those hold together, they'll move into our area a little bit later. Now, we do have team coverage meteorologist Brad Carl is in the studio. He's been gathering a lot of those storm reports and looking to see if there's any power outages out there.
Well, so far, I haven't been seeing any reports of power outages with this. That being said, our winds have been relatively on the lower side. The only couple peaks I've seen as far as wind goes would be the one we just got that Ben mentioned along the Will Rogers Turnpike. This is near Verdigris. That actually was around 56 miles per hour, so actually even below that severe limit of 60 miles per hour. And then also another one that was out earlier toward the Pryor area. Of course, that's an area of great importance since that's where we're seeing the Rocklahoma Festival take place, between there and Adair, and that was about 46 miles per hour.
Producing a tornado.
Yeah, it certainly has near the Welty area a little bit earlier this evening. Continue with the tornado warning for areas of Okfuskee County. I understand we just got word that Okemah, the tornado sirens are going off for you guys. So again, better to be safe right now than anything as this storm tracks further to the south and to the east. Big threat with this, just as Molly was talking about, is the large hail. Radar estimates right now of about 3-inch diameter, so that's right around teacup size. And that's going to be just to the north and to the northeast of the Boley area, also near baseball-sized hail, getting ready to cross over Highway 48 right here. So 48 just north of Highway 62. And with time, again, heading down toward the Okemah area. So again, protect that car if you can from this destructive hail that is moving off to the east and also to the southeast. So that's the storm down in Okfuskee County. Throughout the metro, hail size much smaller, about the order of about pea size, back towards Claremore. It's just southeast right along the turnpike, about dime size in this particular area. Looking at the area of rotation, a lot broader than it was a little bit earlier when we certainly had a touchdown of a tornado near Welty. Looking at still some areas of weak rotation south of the Boley area. Back across the Tulsa metro, basically just some gusty winds farther to the east and to the northeast between about Claremore and Inola. Looking at an enhancement of some of those winds that could approach about 60 miles per hour in this particular.
This line of thunderstorms is sinking south now. You should get some winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, and you will get a hail course associated with that. That is moving just to here's Highway 412. So Leach, and then Little Kansas, and then West Siloam Springs and Siloam Springs. So that is tracking south. The hail cores are it's really kind of embedded hail within this. We should have some damaging wind potential of 60 miles per hour or so along that leading edge, and that goes up to around the Spavinaw area. And also we have quite a few, you notice the positive lightning strikes, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But down toward the Choteau area now, as we look at what's happening here, this is just to the west of Locust Grove. Again, this is along 412 and around Choteau and the power plant at this moment. And let's zoom in just a little bit more. And could you give me a shear or a velocity? I'll take either one right this time. But this is the storm as it's been sinking southward. And this is closer to a boundary. So there is some very strong wind potential right now around Choteau to Murphy. So this is a bit concerning for us. And so this would be close to the power plant. And this is an area in which I do believe we could have some wind damage. So if you're around the Locust Grove area to around Murphy to Cedar Crest, we want you to be advised because it looks like we could have some 60-mile-an-hour winds with that. Do we have a velocity update that you could with this? And we'll take that. So this would be some strong, potentially damaging winds of 50 miles per hour. It looks like that's about 50 That could be about up to 50. That's around the Murphy area to around Cedar Crest. So if you are in the areas from Locust Grove to Murphy and then around the Choteau area, this would be some fairly strong winds. Also hail potential. So yeah, so that looks about right. So there is a potential for
head to the northeast and connect with the storm and help push it east. McAllister, you're not in the clear just yet. Still tornado watch for all areas until midnight. The outflow boundary that's moved through the metro region, it will clear the severe weather threat areas to the north. It's from Tulsa to the south, still Muskogee and Tahlequah, that we still have the potential for severe weather tonight. We did have a tornado earlier just southwest of Bristow, Southern Creek County, with this supercell. So we did have a tornado earlier this evening reported by our storm spotters. That storm now moving to the south into Okemah. And John, you're getting really close. We see the lightning just off on the horizon there. Very intense lightning with this really still a very intense storm. It's just not seeing the low level rotation we saw earlier. Are the winds still pretty strong as you're driving closer into that cell?
Yeah, we're getting some pretty good gusts here, Mike. Still, I'd say maybe about 40 miles per hour. You could look on the
in Southern Creek County. We're still seeing a lot of really heavy rain here, but thankfully the heaviest rain shifting south slowly out of Creek County. But as Brad and Ben have said, this one's going to end up being a big wind threat. We still officially have a tornado warning in effect, but we also have a lot of rain falling along Highway 48 between Castle, Highway 62, IXL, and up toward Welty. So yeah, we'll watch this. Let's zero in with Fox 23 Doppler radar right now, and we'll take a look. Again, as first of all, we look to the northeast of Tulsa now, and we're still seeing some pretty strong winds. We, of course, have added, there's Rocklahoma now, so the winds aren't too strong, but look just to the west of Pryor. We're getting into some brighter coloration right here, so we're seeing winds 40 to 50 miles per hour on Fox 23 Doppler radar. Let's kick back over, and what we'll do is jump back here into the southwest part of Okfuskee County again. Still looking at a little bit of rotation developing in central parts of Okfuskee County. This is going to be between the lake, between Okemah Lake and the community of Mason right now. And as we look right in here, again, just as we get that update from radar, maybe seeing just a little bit of that, well, close to Mason right now. It doesn't look super strong, but it's a little bit of an uptick in this rotation right here smack dab in the core of this storm. Might get a little bit better look at it as we take a look from central Oklahoma. And again, looking right in here, looks kind of between, Mason